Cynthia Williams leaving WotC? Who's Cynthia Williams? What's WotC? But isn't WotC the company with the D&D and the OGL and the Pinkertons and the blah, 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 blah. Today we're going to talk a little bit about what just happened at Wizards of the Coast with Cynthia Williams stepping down. I even wore my very fancy business shirt today, so I can look a little bit like I know what I'm talking about. It's always important to have good sources. Forbes is usually pretty good, so thank you, Professor Dungeon Master, for finding that article for me. Basically, the announcements of Cynthia Williams, maybe not ousted, but essentially leaving Wizards of the Coast. They explained some of the things that had happened. And I'm not going to go read through this. I'm going to put the link to Professor Dungeon Master's video where he essentially goes through this article. Professor Dungeon Master suggests that his man from Roll for Combat should take over Wizards of the Coast, WotC, because they have a manpower of 2 while WotC has a manpower of 24. Sounds a little corporate. I'm worried about you. Okay? Professor Dungeonman, I love you. I'm a patron. Just messing with you. Now, what I want to show you today is how much money people make across the United States, and why corporate America really pisses us off, and how we hate watching corporate America come into Dungeons and Dragons the way it has in the last couple of years. So what we're looking at here is essentially the salaries of most of the people of the United States. And I think the biggest thing that we can point out when we're looking at this income range and then looking at the proportion percent here, this is going to tell us how much money, what percent of the US population actually makes this amount of money. So this is straight out of Wiki. Yes, it's Wiki. Wiki is usually pretty accurate, but let's just take a quick look. Glance over to the total income somebody makes within a year. Now, if we look at how many people in the United States makes $50,000 or less, that's over 50%, close to 60% of the United States. If we come over here and look at how many people are actually making less than 100,000, that's about 85% of the entire population. That means most of us here probably watching these videos make less than $100,000 a year. And that is your bulk population of the United States. Now, this tells us that most of us are just average Joes trying to survive on our less than 100K income. Most of us probably around the 60, 70 range. When Cynthia Williams showed up to Wizards of the Coast, she came in, she had a corporate plan. What is that corporate plan? Have you seen this movie? What do? They come in, they assess the entire workforce, and then they begin to remove people they deem unnecessary. There's something to learn here about corporate behavior. They find these top exec people who've been out there in the corporate world. What they're trained to do is we come in, we assess how many people can we get rid of. That's going to make the company money. Number 2, where can we look at to monetize everything? Where can we look to monetize things? Let's monetize anything we can. People need to pay us for being us. OGL scandal. That's what they were trying to do. Get money for everything. How else can we make money? Well, let's take this existing product here and let's split it into 4 different products. Even though we were originally going to sell it as one product, but let's split it into 4 and let's double the amount that's going to cost everybody. People will pay for it, right? Of course, some people will. They have the money. But what did we learn at Wiki Salaries here? Not all of us make a lot of money, right? So why should you care that Cynthia Williams is being let go? You shouldn't. But what we should do and hopefully do is learn from bad corporate behavior. You who are out there building those new games, building those new supplement books, building resources books, you're about to launch that Kickstarter, you're on your way up on that list of Fortune 500 companies. Look back at these salaries. Remember, you used to be these people. If you haven't been paying attention, this has been going on for decades. Office space, right? But how long has this been happening? Now it's just in our face. The media's in our face. We get all this news all the time. Now it's about Dungeons and Dragons. Now we care, so we're watching. It's so important that we should remember our past so we don't repeat it in the future. Cynthia Williams got fired? Why you should care? No, nobody cares. Nobody cares.